Hello there and welcome to another episode of Eat Smoke Drink. You're probably wondering, shit, has that dude gained a few kilos? You will be right. I've just been back from Hong Kong and Taiwan, and yes, I've gained a few kilos. That's what happens when you consume vast amounts of milk tea every day, roast duck and roast pork and rice. But anyway, today it's a very exciting day for me. A friend has visited from the UK and they decided they're going to bring back a bottle of Longrow 21. There's about 3,900 bottles of Longrow 21, and it's been quite a while since I've released it. So, to put in perspective, you think, oh, that sounds like a lot. It's actually not. If you think about it, it's been distributed around the world, and usually Springbank runs are at about 9 to 10,500 per run. So, just under 4K is a pretty small run. Also, so this is quite a limited edition. This is 60%. Sherry, 40% bourbon, so very excited to try this today. And this is the Springbank but heavily peated version of Springbank, so pretty exciting. So let's get nosing, and as usual I put just a few drops and let's see how we go. Oh wow, oh man, sweetness, flintiness hits you straight in the nose. This is open right now, so it's still got that flintiness and sulfuric notes coming through. That will subside as the bottle sits with a little bit of oxygen in it, but I'm getting that flintiness. I'm getting a little bit of rose water, which is quite interesting. A perfume. So the perfume is a rose water. I don't know what else I can describe it as, but gunpowder smoke, stones, river stones on a hot day, you know, when you're smelling that, the earthiness of the stones. Oh wow. Oh wow, oh man, the smell is fantastic. I'm getting a little bit of vanilla in there, a sickly sweet coconut, obviously from the bourbon influence, but it is definitely a more sherry influenced dram. I'm getting some jam in there, like a condensed fruit almost, so kind of like a jam. I don't know what kind of fruit it is that I'm smelling. Maybe it's a boysenberry, a bit of cinnamon, and of course I'm getting that waft of peat, the smoke, a lot of smoke, and not so much a thick peat, but a lot of smoke in there. That could also be because of 21 years, the peat has started to mellow out in the barrel as the years have gone by. But that funk, what I'm really loving about it is that dunnage funk that Springbank and Longrow are known for. There is that funk, there is that damp earthiness, there is that damp mossy kind of smell, fungal. It's fantastic. It's got a beautiful stench. I mean, really, what I love about Springbank and Longrow is that it stinks, but it stinks in the best possible way, like a blue cheese. It stinks like a century egg, like a fantastic stench to it. It's got a distinct meatiness and fattiness to it as well, which is kind of strange because it's a fattiness and a meatiness mixed with a bit of perfume, and I would probably say slight pepperiness and meatiness of a salami and the fattiness of prosciutto. Salami. Fantastic. Now let's smell the one with water. Not a huge amount of change right now. With water, I'm getting a lot more of that sweetness and floral note coming through. It becomes slightly more sickly sweet actually with the sickly sweetness comes through a lot more. So sugary brown sugar, caramel brown sugar, sugar syrup, With water, very sweet smelling. The peat and smoke starts to subside a little bit with the water. The spice comes through a bit more. With water, a bit more cinnamon coming through, a bit more of that fruit cake coming through. The dunnage comes through a little bit more as well. So yeah, look, I mean, actually the flavors tend to be a bit more pronounced except for the peat. So that's quite a nice comparison with the water. Let's taste. I've been looking forward to this one since I've heard of the announcement of this. I've actually been really wanting this to come in, and I was too impatient. Now we will get this in the country anyway, I believe, I hope so, but I've been too impatient, so I thought I'll do anything to try it now and get this in. So a friend brought this in for me. I said to him, look, whatever it takes, even if you smuggle it rectally, I don't care. Oh wow, that is absolutely an absolute treat. But it is flinty, it is funky, not as funky as the sherry cask 14-year-old, but it is funky, it is flinty, it is a dirty whiskey. 46%. This whiskey is absolutely dirty. I mean, it is a robust flavor profile, uber complex, not overtly oily, which is quite interesting. The finish is not as long as some other Longrows I've had. The finish is quite long, but not as long and oily. That could be maybe the aging process as well. I'm getting a hit of spice when I drink it. Candied ginger. I'm getting that sweetness of the caramel, cinnamon, fruit cake. And then I'm getting the fungal notes, the sulfuric notes. I'm getting a slight chalkiness at the end of the palate, a slight bitterness at the end of the palate, like a bit of I'd hate to say citrus pith, but not the citrus, but just the bitterness of the pith. More like a bitter melon bitterness, actually. Now that sounds weird, a bitter melon bitterness. Oh wow, what a pleasure. What a pleasurable dram. That is fantastic. That is fantastic. The smoke wafts through the back of your palate. The alcohol permeates through your mouth. It's funky. It's gritty. It's earthy. It's minerally. It's everything in a mouthful. It's fantastic. I'm loving this one. I'm really loving this one. Now, time to try it with the few drops of water. With water, the smokiness comes through a lot more. The smokiness definitely comes through a lot more. The finish becomes a little bit more pronounced, actually, which is quite interesting with water. I don't know how that works, but it does. Delicious. With water, it is definitely a bit sweeter. With water, the bitterness in the end subsides a little bit. The funkiness, relatively the same. I'd say if I had to pick a side, the funkiness does pronounce a little bit more with the water. Can I pick which one? No, I can't. I would say pour yourself a good dram. Halfway through, add some water just to help it progress, so you can really experience both of it. I would highly recommend getting your hands on this, even if you have to smuggle it rectally somewhere, even if you have to really just do whatever it takes to get one, get one. It's well worth the money. It is tad expensive, but what do you expect? It's a limited edition 21-year-old with 3,900, sub 4,000 bottling per year they're going to release. I reckon the sherry and bourbon combination is perfect, or close to perfect. 60-40, 60 sherry, 40 bourbon. I'd even say maybe actually pushing it to maybe 70% sherry, 30 bourbon. Could have done a little bit more, because I find that the sherry cask expressions of Longrow and Springbanks tend to give a longer finish, and I think that longer finish would have just been given a bit more structure in the finish. But in saying that, that's not a complaint. That's more of like, hey, if I could blend for them, that's probably what I would do. A glorious dram, Cigar Pairings. This is a PT whiskey, but not overly PT. In terms of cigar pairings, I'd say, look, I'm gonna go all out. Super oily, super robust. Arturo, fuente, Anejo, Nica Rustica, Undercrown, double Maduros, or a Maduro, something like that. Not as peppery as, I wouldn't go as peppery, I'd go sweeter. Why? Because I think that'll just suit it. But hey, at the end of the day, that's up to you. Thank you very much for watching, and see you again next time. And hopefully next time you see me, I would have lost a bit of weight from my roast goose and crispy pork and milk tea hangover. And yes, get yourself one. I definitely recommend it, and I think this is going to be a regular purchase for me. See you soon. Just kidding.